Hey y'all, how you perking? I hope you perking good. So, here we are today, Penelope and I. She's matching me in the whole white and black motif with some sort of attitude going on. She's copping an attitude. Look at that eyeball. I don't know what's going there. But anywho, we are here today because y'all have been firing questions at me, and I'm ready to try to dig into those and answer those for you. I've got my little handy dandy sticky note where folks have been saying, what in the world is going on? Recession, depression, future of gas supplies, food supplies. How is this supposed to affect people who get Social Security or benefits or things like that? Like all the stuff going on, people are kind of freaking out, understandably so. I've had my own levels of freak out pertaining to all of this. And so here we are, sitting down, ready to dig in here and answer your questions. Of course, I am a licensed mental health clinician as well as a spiritual and intuitive, and we are about to take a look at this tea with the tarot. So, let me go ahead and pull up the cards and move this microphone, right chair. And we're going to get shuffled up here. So, as we're getting shuffled up, if you want to be a member of the Perk Squad for extra perks, then join with the blue join button below or with the link in the description box. The Perk Squad has a special going on right now where it is the 2-year anniversary for the Perk Squad this month of August 2022, and so they get a special discount of 20% off all private readings, Reiki Energy Healing Sessions, tarot tutoring, life coaching, all the things that I offer on my website, and they get a special 20% off. So if you want to be a member of the Perk Squad, that's one of the perks going on right now this month. And then, of course, there's other perks as well. Weekly forecasts and also shout-outs like this one. Shout out to you, Angie. You thought I was going to miss you. You thought I wasn't going to shout you out. Please, shout out to you, Angie. And thank you for being a member of the Perk Squad. Happy to have you here, of course. And they get exclusive videos and exclusive posts. So, yeah. We're all shuffled up here. Gonna just dive right on into this without further ado. So, tell it to me straight, spirit guides. For the highest good of all sentient kind, please allow us to know whatever we are allowed to know. Please give us anything that we are permitted to have access to related to the future here. Are we looking at getting into a recession? Because right now people are not decided on whether this is or is not a recession. And furthermore, are we getting into a depression at some point? People are worried. So let's just see kind of where the cards seem to be showing and taking us here and kind of go from there. Ooh. And as I'm pulling this out, you saw this one flipped over too. As I'm pulling this out, of course, as usual, this is all alleged, just my interpretation. Okay, all alleged, just my interpretation. Alrighty, let's see. Do I want any more context? I want some context on these two. So, goodness gracious, these cards are jumping today about this. Jumping. Okay. So, what I'm looking at here, this is not as bad as some people's worst fears. So, I'm just going to go ahead and throw that positive out for anybody that's sitting there with some bad anxiety. Here, let me take off this Fitbit. I noticed the other day when I have this thing on that it counts my shuffling as taking steps. And I don't want to cheat and make it look like I've walked all damn day long when really I was just shuffling cards. So, yeah, anybody that's got some initial anxiety and they're like, just cut to the chase. Is it bad or is it good? I don't see worst case here, okay? I don't see worst case here. The Emperor card upright looks like there's going to be some strong personality that starts to come in and make changes that are actually positive in terms of economic, financial stuff. So, Don't know who this person is, but the Emperor card in the tarot is a very strong male energy. This, of course, as usual, you can have very strong masculine energy coming from a female. That can happen, even though the Emperor card typically is male. And so this figure here is somebody that in the near future, I want to say the next earliest, later this year, 2022, that's the earliest this person would be able to kind of take hold and start doing something. The latest would probably be around 2024 that this person would be able to kind of take hold and start something and kind of get planted. So within that time frame, I'm seeing this person being able to start doing things that leads the economy and financial situation into a better way than it is now. I don't necessarily see this person as being completely well loved. I will put it that way. When we get an Emperor card, the Emperor is just sometimes he comes off as bossy to some people. Sometimes he comes off as too much. Some sort of way. That's my air quotes down here. Some sort of way. And so he's not always like the most likable across the board, this Emperor card. But that doesn't mean he's not competent or incapable of certain things. People can be capable of things and not be super liked across the board. And that's one thing that we're seeing here. So there's that. Take that, however you'd like. Right here, coming over, 6 of Wands upright. Again, this is kind of a getting back up on our horse. So it looks like even though there are some struggles going on here, I do see some form of getting back up on the horse happening for folks as it relates to economy and finances. Does that mean that things feel like it goes back to normal or better than normal? Doesn't necessarily overpromise anything like that. It doesn't necessarily overpromise anything. But at least we're not getting knocked off the horse completely and just like, dead in the water, totally fucked up. Like, I'm not seeing that type of, again, despair, negativity, horrors, etc. Over here, this is a silver linings card. A silver linings card. So that it's kind of saying like, how do you put this? Okay, this is I hate that they gave me this situation in my mind because whatever. I asked for an example in my head. They gave me an example in my head. I don't care for it, but I'm going to say it anyway. They're talking about people who have cancer and that for a lot of cancer patients, chemotherapy is one of the main treatments that you might get. And the point of chemotherapy, basically, in a nutshell, this is not a very medical way of putting it, but I'm just putting it in layman's terms. Basically, in a nutshell, it wants to kill the cancer, and so it brings... It's kind of killing the person at the same time, but hoping that the person will be able to stay alive as the cancer dies, and that the person will be strong enough to take it and stay alive while the cancer dies. But it's really harming both of them at the same time, but the bad thing dies off, the good thing lives on. And that's kind of, in a nutshell, how it works. Obviously, that's, again, a very non-medical explanation for it, but it does bring people to a really rough place physically as they're going through it, but it's killing the cancer internally, which is the positive. And so what that silver lining here is saying is that whatever happens to kind of be the silver lining for the economy and finances is something that some people might see as chemotherapy, something that some people might not be a super fan of, and they might see it as, this is a bad thing, it's cutting us off, it's killing us too. Yeah, you're trying to, kill off the recession, but you're killing us off too. I'm saying that K word a little too many times here. Might get removed for saying that. Let me watch myself and If there's a way that I know how to beep that out, I might. But you get what I'm saying here. Like, some people might feel like whatever things are utilized to help us in that way might be things that they are worried about. Like, oh, but if the recession didn't get me, that thing's gonna get me. How the fuck is that supposed to make it better? But that is a part of the silver lining. That is a part of how things will ultimately get better. And so have an open mind with whatever that is, whatever would be coming down the pipeline around that. Have an open mind, because even if it might seem a little iffy at first, there is something that could be helpful in that. And our context card that we got on top of that with the Two of Wands in reverse, this is about like, hey, we're just having to get back into inner alignment some kind of a way. It's like brass tacks, bottom line, what fits, what works, what doesn't. We don't have time to waste on the other stuff. And so there is some kind of a hard bottom line type of thing that looks like it would come into play. And again, I said this figure would be coming in earliest 2022, latest 2024. So we're talking about something that might be kind of around the corner, but it might be a little ways off yet before we kind of see this stuff start to bubble up and come into fruition. So just keep your eyes and ears open, in other words. Matter of fact, you know how things happen quick on here, so I got to just put it down. It is 6:40 p.m. on Tuesday, August 9th. So throwing that out there for what it's worth. Sometimes I have to put things out there like that because sometimes things start trickling in or coming true. And I'm like, hold on, the video is still processing in YouTube before it can even be released. Shit. So, yeah, there's that. Bottom row here, the Hermit card is a pulling inward. So this is people kind of having to pull inward, having to kind of reflect, having to kind of withdraw or shut down, some sort of a way to try to get something in motion here. And so this might be people making personal decisions about their finances to try to save a little bit of money or something like that. It could be that kind of penny pensions that you get, which kind of looks like this Page of Pentacles here in reverse. So there might be people making personal choices. This was broad scale, very much broad scale. This is more micro scale, more individual, personal level. I see a lot of people making those types of choices here. Now, interesting over here with this Eight of Wands in reverse and King of Swords upright. There is somebody, so I'm going to say this is somebody overseas, and when I'm saying overseas, I'm here sitting in the USA, and so somebody that is not from the United States or not currently living in the United States is going to have some sort of part to play in this process as well. So as I'm talking about economy and things like this, of course, a lot of people are thinking about over here in the States, but you know, on this channel, a lot of things that we talk about either are not limited to the States very directly, or it might be speaking about the States, but it has implications beyond the States. We are always a global economy. We do interact and trade with different countries. And so things that affect one country often affect other countries as well. And so I'm seeing some kind of a smart person being represented as this King of Swords upright, some sort of a smart person who is not either from the U.S. or living in the U.S. It's going to have a big part to play in this global economy, economic financial situation. So let me get an extra context card on this person, see where they're taking this. Okay, see, they're saying that there's some kind of a release that this person can bring. But this person, again, this person is not super lovey-dovey or whatever. This is not the most emotional type of person, so perhaps not the most likable across the board. We're seeing a trend here with certain people that come forward with things that could be helpful, not necessarily be being the type of people that are broadly embraced by the masses. Now, there's probably people that love them anyway and are big fans, but that doesn't mean that, it's like, ooh, warm and cuddly. I like this person. They give me great vibes. Not always. But again, it doesn't necessarily speak to their competency here. So throwing that out there, this is something that they know how to work at. They know they have this idea that practice makes perfect, and they have this idea that we have no choice. This is the direction we have to go in. So let's push forward. Let's figure out how to make it work. See, good position to see the Devil card in reverse. This is a dropping of the chains, releasing of the chains. And so there are certain things that we are currently chained by that are affecting us in a negative way relative to economy and finance. And this person is going to be a part of trying to disentangle those chains, let those things go. And so maybe that's bad policies that we have been adhering to, and they find ways to ameliorate, erase, change, amend, whatever these policies. It could be that there are certain, trade relationships or foreign policies that have been getting in the way, and they find a way to help ease whatever that is that's blocking or hindering our flow here with economy and finances. They might be able to help with that. It could be any number of things that they're working on that they're able to finesse or they're able to expose so that things will fall away. So this could get a little sloppy, is what I'll say. It could get a little sloppy. People have a lot of opinions, and there's a lot of different people with differing opinions, so who knows what this is going to look like. But I'm just saying, for a first pull here, this is not fatalistic. This is not the worst thing that we could see. So that's a good start. I'm going to pull these up and kind of reshuffle them back in, and we're going to take a look a little bit deeper to get a little bit more context. Penelope still got an attitude over here. Girl, get it straight. Get it straight. Get your attitude straight. Papa! I need to know it. All right, let me get shuffled up here. And so, let's see. In terms of people who are scared about the basics, food, gas, food, gas, any kinds of assistance that they might receive from the government around Social Security, disability, etc. People worried about those things. Let's just take a peek and see, if we've got some major things to be worried about, or if things maybe won't be as bad as they seem, kind of get an idea as to what we're looking at here. So, all right, spirit guides, again, whatever we're allowed to know for the highest good of all, please allow us to receive that messaging here. Okay. So, already, this is very interesting. I want some context over here. Okay, already, I will say that this second question doesn't have quite the level of positivity as the previous one, but that doesn't mean that this is all bad. People sometimes freak out whenever I do these videos and they, allow their brains to spiral into the worst, and they put things in my mouth that I didn't say, or they stretch things to mean something that I never said that they mean. So please, as I'm going through this, if I say there's some things here that aren't so positive, and I list them out, and then I say, but here's some things here that show that it's not the worst case. How about make sure you take the good with the bad, okay? Because you're taking the bad with the good, but also take the good with the bad. Don't filter out the positives, please. That's very important that we maintain that balance in whatever ways we realistically can. My guides like to give it to me realistically. my guides don't sugarcoat things, but they also don't, oh my God, the sky is falling and stuff with things either. I feel like they say things very matter-of-factly and try to be very balanced and fair with their approach. And it's been, again, got a great track record here on the channel, got a proof playlist that I could have added way more things to had I even had time to do extra proof videos that I haven't had time to with all these jobs I got, because I'm one of y'all too. I got 3 jobs right now. So just to make sure I'm doing good through these challenging times too. So I freaking get it. I feel ya, okay? I empathize. So anywho, with this, for people asking about gas, food, government assistance, etc., what it's looking like is there are going to be some changes and people are going to feel freaked out. So whatever goes down, there is going to be some of that kind of emotional insecurity around this. So for example, even when COVID hit and there were shortages and stuff, technically a lot of people did have what they needed, but it felt really tighter than usual. And so they were stressed and uncomfortable, worrying, what about the day that I really, for real, don't have the basics that I need? And I know some people didn't have the basics of what they need. I do know that. But a lot of people did, but they were just freaking out like, I'm just inches away from not having what I need. But technically, I've got everything I need. It's just too close for comfort. And there seems like there's going to be more times like that ahead. So again, just a heads up, preparing people that there's going to be more times like that ahead, and that is stressful and anxiety producing, and they're wanting to validate that and honor that and speak to that. But with the World card upright, this is when things have an ending. Things are finite. Things don't just go on and on and on forever. And so they're saying this too shall pass. So as there will be moments of scarcity with these types of things, this too shall pass. It will not be like that forever. It's not like this is the beginning of the end and this is the best it will ever be and it will just get worse from here, because that's very doomsday vibe, and I'm just not seeing that, y'all. I'm not seeing the doomsday vibe. In fact, here we go with the Lovers card. This is like partnerships, collaborations, people and things coming together to tie this in a bow, to make things happen. And hello, this is the World card. So as we're tying a bow around things, as things that are struggles are coming to an end, look at everybody from every corner of the world is represented here, coming together to do it all. You know what this card reminds me of in how it looks here? Y'all remember freaking Captain Planet, right? Where it's like all these people on the team would put their ring together and the Captain Planet would come in the middle of them all and be like, oh, I am the amalgamation of all of you and all of the elements that you're bringing together. You know how that was? That's what this feels like. That's what this feels like. It's a coming togetherness with this partnership, putting heads together and solving things, fixing things, helping things. And so I do see some sort of a togetherness, some sort of a collaborative vibe, some sort of things coming together, people, entities, countries, whatever, coalitions, I don't know, coming together and making sure that things are provided for. So in this case, I'm seeing grassroots. Here we go. Boop, growing up from the bottom. I'm seeing grassroots organizations taking over and doing things in a way that moves things forward. But I'm also seeing that there could be some benevolent benefactors that are helping the process as well. So there could be some people who have a lot and they share what they have some kind of a way with others, whether that's literal people that share some of what they have with others, or whether that is like wealthy corporations, companies, etc., that contribute to certain causes or things like that, that's really helpful in in kind of making sure that we're watching out for our own. So I'm seeing things like that. I do see things like that. So despite the fact that there are going to be some periods of time where we feel like, this load is too much to carry, I don't know if we're going to be able to get gas in the tank or food on the table. I don't know if we're going to be able to have everything we need. We have this hope for new beginnings. The Star card is always about have faith. Have faith. And in this upright position, the new beginnings, new ideas. This is an Aquarius card, Aquarian energy, which is all about that innovation and illumination and insights and things like that. They're going to be like this, brilliant idea. Why don't we have this and combine these things, and this can help this. Like this synergism of wonderful innovation that people could think of, and suddenly things kind of click together just in time. This is kind of like, have y'all ever, and I'm not going to say have y'all ever, I'm going to say remember the times, at least one time in your life, I'm sure you've had some time where you were struggling and you weren't sure how it was going to come together, but somehow, some way, it wasn't game over like a video game. Somehow, some way, things kept moving, things kept going, life kept going, and you ended up in a slightly better situation than you were in before, or maybe a really much better situation than you were before. But either way, things just kind of started evolving and coming together and getting sorted out or whatever. Whether it was messy and painful or not, it did. And think about that. This seems to be the case too. It's like, okay, for all these major problems, in the 11th hour, we've got some solutions presenting here. In the 11th hour, we've got some ideas coming forward and some people or organizations that are willing to partner, bringing things together. And so I see this as being a slip, but not a fall. Okay? We might trip, but we're not going to fall. All right? This isn't going to be a help me, can't get up, I fell kind of situation, okay? We ain't going to do Aunt Barbara like that, all right? We're going to pick her ass up off the floor and sit her back in her chair, and she's going to be all right. Dust her off a little bit. Give her some juice, okay? So, doesn't look super bad. Looks a lot better than we're worried about, okay? Alrighty, any last things that we can know, should know about the future of the economy and finances, spirit guides? Any other things that we can know and should know about the future of the economy and finances? Here, we'll just do one like this. Okay, they're saying that there are certain decisions that have already been made that have put us in a category that we can't escape. And so it does feel like, as there are some people saying, are we in a recession or are we not, and all that kind of stuff, it does look like when they're showing here that they're feeling like, hey, just admit what's going on, because the sooner we can be honest with ourselves and the situation, the better off we are. Because as soon as we can make that decision and label things for what they are, then we can go ahead and get into alignment, taking the actions that need to be taken, and we don't have to be in this fuzzy, chaotic, I don't know, I don't understand it type of energy. It's kind of like, how do you effectively solve problems if you haven't adequately labeled the problem? It's kind of like, how is a doctor supposed to treat an illness without a proper diagnosis? Like, if someone, we're looking and we're like, oh, well, the symptoms here are that they're running a fever and that they don't feel well. It's like, yeah, okay, well, should the doctor give antibiotics? Should the doctor just let nature take its course and, their immune system will take care of it and they'll be fine? Should the doctor test the person for COVID or for viral infections or for, their white blood cell count to see if it's a bacterial infection or for, yeast infection or whatever? Like, should we be checking for all these different things? Like, how the fuck are you going to treat something adequately if you don't have it properly diagnosed? And that's what they're kind of showing here as it relates to the economy money and finances. And again, we're talking, that this has global implications. We can't properly address things without a proper diagnosis. And so we have to have this moment of truth and honesty and introspection. It does look like that's already been chosen for us. We cannot unring that bell. And so now it's just a point of accepting, admitting, and labeling in such a way that we can now prescribe the proper treatments for that particular ailment in our economy. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. We don't even have to have judgment involved. We don't have to do any finger pointing. We don't have to do all that, although I'm sure we fucking will. But we don't have to do all that. Why a duck? Because it looks like a fucking duck and it quacks. And it's got a tail that does like this, all cute and shit. Webbed feet. Could be a duck. Could be a duck, my man. So this is just what it's showing here, and very matter of fact. And in terms of the prognosis, it looks a lot better than the doomsday people are worrying about. So all the people who are freaking out, sweating bullets over it, yeah, looks like there's going to be some discomfort coming up, some uncomfortable times in terms of, fixing things with people who are not the most lovable and methods that are not the most comfortable and inviting and free feeling and whatever. But at the end of the day, the bottom line looks like it gets met in a way that we don't slip through the cracks big time and fall through big time. And for a lot of people, that's what matters. That's what matters. So, if you'd like a private reading, you know how to reach me on my website, BeasTalksAndTarot.com. You can get a private reading if you feel like you need an energy tune-up, a little bit of a healing. Need to kind of see if there's any blockages or anything that you need to know about your health, spiritually, emotionally, physically, mentally, etc. Then Reiki Energy Healing I've got there. If you want to read the tarot the way I read the tarot, we've got some tarot tutoring sessions there. Also have life coaching for people just feeling like, I feel a little bit stuck. I feel a little bit unfulfilled. I feel a little bit, help. How do I get out of this? What do I do? Kind of thing. Got that too. So, and again, there's a sale going on the Perk Squad for anybody that wants to join and get all the extra perks. There's like probably 70, 80 videos too on the Perk Squad. So if you end up feeling like, hey, I'm out of videos and I need to watch some more videos and kill some time by, I said the K word again. I'm gonna get messed up here. I might have to put some bleeps. But yeah, if people want to burn some time, spend some time on some videos, we got plenty of extras over there. And more coming all the time. So, anywho. Alrighty, y'all. We will end this also on a high note by putting in some sort of fucking shenanigans, puppy shenanigans, whatever, at the end of this. So, having even more of a little laugh or bright spot at the end of the video. And anywho, don't be a stranger. Come back and see me, and I will talk at you later. But love you, mean it. Bye, y'all. Well, damn. Should I have brought another pillow in here? Y'all okay? We've got 4 squishmallows in this house. I only put 1 in here because I didn't expect this. Bless. I'll give you a special seat. Teddy, you little fat ass. Teddy, is this really the place that you need to go? Really? Why are you... Teddy! You had all of this little side yard. Yeah. All of this little side yard to go. And you went there.
Teddy, you need to pee.